Intro: every story hides a secret. Let's uncover it. Just imagine a prison where inmates play a deadly game against each other. In this prison, there's a dangerous race, and whoever wins it earns their freedom. To know the full story, make sure to watch the video till the end. The year is 2012. The US economy is steadily declining. Unemployment and crime rates are rising day by day. Seeing the worsening situation, the government handed over control of all prisons to private companies. These companies use the prisons for their own profit. One such prison is Terminal Island, where inmates are forced to participate in a lethal race called the death race. The race is broadcast live and has become extremely popular across America. One day, a race is underway in this prison. On the track, only 2 cars remain, one driven by Frankenstein with his navigator case, and the other by the racer Joey. Frankenstein is leading the race when suddenly all the weapons in his car stop working. Meanwhile, Joey keeps firing at Frankenstein's car relentlessly. Now, when Frank realized that the car could explode at any moment, he told Case to get out of the vehicle immediately. Case jumped out of the car using a parachute. Just then, Joey attacked Frank's car again, causing it to explode violently. In the next scene, we see a man named Jason who works in a factory. After finishing his work, he returns home, greets his wife, and goes upstairs to see his little daughter. But as soon as Jason reaches upstairs, a masked man breaks into his house and murders his wife. When Jason comes back downstairs, he sees his wife's body. Before he can react, the masked man knocks him unconscious and places a knife in his hand. Before leaving, the killer points at Jason and then flees. A few hours later, when Jason wakes up, the police are already at the house and arrest him for the murder of his wife. 6 months later, Jason is taken to Terminal Island, where a guard looks after him. The next day, while having breakfast, some thugs approach him, harass him, spit in his food, and start making nasty comments about his wife. Hearing all this, Jason became extremely angry and beat them all badly. But just then, the prison guards arrived and immediately stopped the fight. After that, Jason was taken to the prison warden, Hennessy. When Hennessy checked Jason's file, she discovered that he was an excellent car racer. Realizing this, she offered Jason the chance to become the new Frankenstein, since the real Frank had died in the last race explosion, and no one knew about it yet. The warden explained that people all across America loved Frankenstein, and that was why his show's ratings were through the roof. But now that Frank was dead, no races had taken place for the past 6 months, causing the show's ratings to drop steadily. However, the warden also mentioned that Frank always raced wearing a mask, so if someone else wore it, no one would ever suspect a thing. According to the race rules, any prisoner who wins 5 races in a row will earn their freedom. Frank had already won 4 races, and now, if Jason could win 1 more, he could finally be free. If he had agreed to do the job, his sentence would have been pardoned. The offer sounded tempting, but still, Jason refused and said to wardens, "I won't risk my life for your dirty game." Wardens replied, "You're not doing this for me, but for your daughter. You've been accused of your wife's murder, and because of that, you'll spend many years in this prison. By the time you get out, your daughter won't even recognize you." Jason had no other choice. Thinking of his daughter, he accepted the offer to take Frank's place. After that, he was introduced to the coach and his team, the same people who repaired and modified Frank's car. In simple terms, they were the members of the Frankenstein racing team. Like every racer, Frank had his own team that made his car race ready. Meanwhile, in another workshop, Warden's people were working on something secret, a secret only Dean knew. Now the real Frank was dead, and Jason had taken his place as the new Frank, a fact known only to the coach and his team. It was here that the coach showed Jason his new car, fully modernized and equipped with dangerous weapons. But these weapons were only activated on race days, to ensure that no prisoner could use them to try escaping from the prison. Escaping from this prison was nearly impossible anyway. It was located in the middle of the ocean, and anyone attempting to leave would have to cross a narrow bridge. Even if someone tried, police vehicles and helicopters would catch them halfway. Now, the coach begins explaining all the race rules to Jason. He tells him that the race is divided into 3 stages. The first stage focuses on eliminating as many racers as possible, while in the final stage, the goal is to drive the car as fast as possible to cross the finish line. After that, the coach takes Jason to the prison's backyard and starts introducing him to each racer. Just then, Joey approaches the coach and says that even though Frank survived the last race, this time he will definitely kill him. While this is happening, Jason notices some prisoners with tracking devices on their hands, and suddenly he remembers that the same device was on his wife's killer. This means that the murderer must be one of these prisoners. Days passed like this, and finally, the day of the race arrived. On the race day, Jason was given Frank's mask and clothes, and he stepped out disguised as Frank. With Frank's return, the popularity of the death race soared again, and the number of viewers on the live stream kept increasing. When Jason reached the track, the coach told him that he couldn't speak to the other drivers, just like the real Frank used to. The coach also mentioned that he could remove his mask if he wanted, since the car windows were tinted and no one could see inside. Jason's navigator already knew the whole truth. Soon, the race began, and everyone started trying to get ahead, colliding with each other's cars and attempting to push opponents out of the race. At that moment, Case told Jason about a shortcut, which allowed him to move to the front of the race. After that, wardens started the attack and defense round. As this rule came into effect, 3 types of markings appeared on the track. Case explained to Jason that if he chose the sword, all the car's weapons would activate, and if he chose the shield, the car's smoke bombs and oil leak system would activate, which he could use to defend himself. But if by mistake your car ran over the skull, it would be completely crushed. As soon as this rule was enforced, heavy gunfire broke out on the track. Jason chose the sword and activated his weapons, but suddenly his weapons jammed, and he couldn't fire a single shot. Seeing this, Case jumped out of the car to fix the weapons. When others saw her, they started shooting at Case, but Jason somehow managed to protect her. Since he was leading the race, Joy started firing a barrage of bullets at him. Jason tried to shoot back, but his weapons stopped working again. Even the coach was stunned because the same problem had occurred in the real Frank's car, which had ultimately led to his death. Meanwhile, Joy kept firing, and Jason's car slowly started taking damage. Just then, another driver crashed into Joy's car, and while they were fighting, Jason drove away. But another car approached Jason, this one driven by a driver named P. Chenko. P. Chenko gave Jason the same signal that his wife's killer had given him. Now it was clear that Pakhen was the one who had killed Jason's wife. Seeing this, Jason got distracted, and Joey took the opportunity to ram into his car, overtake him, and cross the finish line first. By the end of the race, only 6 cars were left, with Joey in first place and Jason in last. After the race, Jason went to Warden and told him that he would no longer participate in the race because he now knew who had killed his wife. He also realized that he had been tricked into prison to become a new Frankenstein for this death race. But Warden didn't care. On the contrary, he started threatening Jason, saying that if he quit, he might never see his daughter again. Whether he wanted to or not, Jason had no choice but to continue the race. That night, while Jason was repairing his car, Pakhen appeared and followed him. Suddenly, Pachen's team attacked and captured him. Pakhen beat Jason badly and was about to crush his head when a member of Jason's team stabbed Pakhen in the neck. Taking advantage of the moment, Jason launched an attack on them, and he killed everyone like a wild animal. He also beat Pakhen badly and finally admitted that he had killed Jason's wife on Warden's orders. Jason was about to kill him, but the guards arrived, and the fight was stopped. The next day, the race moved to its next stage. Before it began, Pakhen tried once again to provoke Jason, but Jason stayed calm and didn't react. When the race started, he began driving his car slowly. Jason asked Case if she had killed Frank, because the car's weapons hadn't been working for the past 2 rounds. When Jason threatened to throw her out of the moving car, Case revealed the whole truth. She said that Warden had instructed her to disable the car's weapons so that Frank would lose the race and continue racing from jail, keeping the show's TRP high. Now Jason understood everything. He accelerated his car to full speed and quickly caught up with Pakhen. He started ramming Pachen's car. Then Jason increased his speed and chose the sword mark, activating all of his car's weapons. And since Pakhen was right behind him, so Jason started driving his car in reverse gear and began firing relentlessly at Pachen's car. After a brief barrage, he straightened his car and released smoke from behind, completely blinding Pakhen, whose car then crashed. Jason then stopped his car, put on Frank's mask, and stepped out. He went to Pakhen, broke his neck, and avenged his wife's death. Meanwhile, Hennessy made her move. She brought out a special weapon she had been preparing for months, a massive tanker truck, equipped with advanced and deadly weapons. As soon as the truck entered the race, it destroyed several cars, and gradually all the drivers were forced out of the race. Now only Jason and Joey remained in the race. Jason realized that he couldn't take down the huge truck alone, so he contacted Joey over the walkie-talkie, and Joey agreed to team up. Together, they started ramming the truck one by one, but these small attacks didn't damage it. Then they devised a new plan, driving their cars through the skull mark to activate the car's full arsenal. And as soon as he did, a wall appeared on the track and the truck flipped over violently. With that, the second stage of the race ended. That evening, while Jason was repairing his car, Joey approached him and said that Jason's voice didn't match the Frank he had talked to before. Joey now understood that Jason was the fake Frank and the real Frank was dead. Still, he asked no questions and left quietly. Meanwhile, Hennessy decided she would kill Jason, so she planted a bomb in his car to be detonated during the race. By then, Jason also realized that no one who won this race had escaped alive, and Hennessy would not let him survive either. He told his team to fill the car's reserve tank completely with oil. What Jason planned to do with that oil will become clear soon. The next day, as Jason readied himself for the race, Hennessy gave him release papers but warned that even if he won, he would have to keep racing while posing as Frank. However, Jason didn't respond and walked away. When he got into his car, Case informed him that Hennessy had said she wouldn't let him win this race. Despite this, Jason remained unaffected, and as soon as the race began, he accelerated his car to full speed. But Hennessy showed her power again and activated only Joey's weapons. Joey was firing bullets like a madman, and Jason was trying to dodge the attacks. Then he activated his rocket launcher and fired at Jason's car, but the rocket hit a wall instead, causing it to collapse. Both of them started fleeing, as their real plan was to break through the prison wall and escape. Seeing this, Hennessy turned furious and activated the bomb planted in Jason's car. However, it had no effect because the coach and his team had already removed the bomb. Enraged, Hennessy sent all the police cars and helicopters after them. That's when Jason leaked fuel from his reserve tank. A massive explosion went off, stopping all the cars instantly. Finally, they crossed the bridge and took different paths. But now all the helicopters were chasing Jason, as capturing him had become the top priority. Meanwhile, Case decided to help Jason because Hennessy had already given her the release papers. Case got into the driver's seat while Jason seized the opportunity to jump out of the car and hide in the darkness. Case drove the car away, keeping distance from Jason, who then boarded a train with Joey to escape. During this, the helicopters caused another huge explosion, forcing Case to stop the car. By then, she had put on Frank's clothes and mask. She got out of the car and surrendered herself. Hennessy thought they had caught Jason while it was actually Case behind the mask. They were celebrating this success when a gift arrived. When they opened the gift, it contained the same bomb Hennessy had planted in Jason's car, and it had been sent by Jason. At that moment, the coach pressed a button, and Hennessy's story came to an end. Days passed, and now Jason and Joey had opened their own garage. Jason was reunited with his daughter, and everyone was very happy. Shortly after, Case was also released from prison and came to meet them with her new car. And that's the story. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more thrilling twists and surprises.